Okay. Now, before going to the stability and the design of retaining wall, here I am just introducing in front of you the retaining structure, the introduction of retaining structure, and the art retaining structures are actually I have many times I have taken into consideration different retaining structures or retaining wall in case of when we were discussed about the earth pressure theories. Okay, because if we consider any backfill soil where we have considered any of the backfill soil, obviously those backfill soils are protected by a retaining structure, any kind of retaining structure, and most of the cases we have taken into consideration the retaining walls. Okay, now retaining walls are one kind of the retaining structure, and retaining structures are actually constructed where abrupt change in the elevation of the ground surface. Abrupt change means like uh, simple, maybe uneven surface, but abruptly the surface will be taken a change of its slope or elevation. Then at the point of the change of the elevation or the slope, maybe slope, then we have to construct a retaining wall to protect the slope. As the elevation is changed, obviously some slope is generated in the path of the surface, earth surface. Then we have to construct a retaining structure in front of that slope to protect the slope from sliding. Sliding means the soil will be slided due to the gravity, due to gravitational force. That's why we have to construct a retaining wall to protect the slope, the soil at the slope to from sliding. This is the main function of retaining structure. Now, retaining structure may be rigid or may be flexible. I think I should block this term, that is retaining structure can be rigid or can be flexible. Now, flexible retaining structures are seat pile walls. These regarding these seat pile walls, in old syllabus there was a chapter of seat pile walls, the design of seat pile walls. But in your case, seat pile wall is actually eliminated from your syllabus. But seat pile walls are nothing but a seat-like structure, but that is, seat means a metal seat. Okay, and the width and the height, width is thickness is very low, maybe of 15 centimeter or 30 centimeter, or maybe less than that also. Height of the metal seat is maybe 5 or 6 meter or 7 meter, 8 meter, 10 meter, according to the height of the slope, height of the cuts of the soil. But the length of the metal seat will be very high than the other two dimensions, and that type of metal seats are installed in the soil so that we can cut the soil in front of the metal seats, and the back side of the metal seats, the soil at the back side of the metal sheet will be remaining at its original position. That means to protect the back soil, the soil at the back of the metal sheets will be protected by that metallic sheets. Those type of metallic sheet structures are called uh, the sheet pile walls. Okay, those are acting as walls, but the section cross section is like a sheets, and those are made up of metals, maybe metals or maybe other alloys also, but those are obviously some kinds of sheet, and those kinds of walls are called sheet pile walls. And these sheet pile walls are flexible types of retaining structure. We are not continuing the discussion on those flexible types of retaining walls, retaining structures, but here uh, um, we will going to discuss about the rigid type of retaining walls. And the most common example of rigid types of retaining walls, retaining structures, are actually retaining walls. Retaining walls are in the on the contrary of the flexible types of retaining structure. These are very massive in structure, and these are permanent structure. The flexible retaining structure, those are, as an example I have given, the sheet pile walls. Those are the temporary structures. Only those uh, sheet pile walls are installed to protect the backfill soils when the construction work is going on. After the completion of the construction work, those sheet pile walls are eliminated from the site. But retaining walls, those are rigid type of retaining structures, and those are massive in structure. The cross section of those retaining walls are very massive compared to sheet pile walls. And these kinds of structures are used permanently in the construction site, and these type of retaining walls are installed maybe at some um, bridge construction, at the abutment, or maybe at the road construction, where some culverts are installed, culverts are provided at the stretch of the roads, or maybe uh, in the some of the railway tracks, or maybe these kinds of retaining walls are installed in the side of the deep vertical cuts to protect the slope, or to protect the backfill soil. Sorry, that backfill soil is that same soil when there is some retaining walls. Obviously, that carts, the soil carts are protected by the retaining wall. In those cases, these retaining walls, the rigid and massive type of retaining walls, are constructed. Uh, and now, where okay, now coming to the classification of retaining walls. Retaining walls are rigid and massive. I have already told that, and the main four kinds of retaining walls are there. But here I have just added one special type of retaining wall. I will go for that. But before that, the first type of retaining wall is gravity retaining wall. These gravity types of retaining walls are used for the moderate height of soil cuts, earth cuts, and those the heights of those gravity type of retaining walls may be 3 to 4 meter generally. Exceptional cases may be there, but in general, 3 to 4 meters of height of cuts, for 3 to 4 meters of height of soil cuts, for those gravity retaining walls are used. And one thing I should tell you, that as the height of the soil cuts are increasing, the cross section of the retaining wall will be increased, because as the height of the height of the backfill soil increased, then the earth pressure you have already studied about the earth pressures, and as the height is increasing, the earth pressure, because in the equation of earth pressure there is the, in the general equation, that is, what is that? Can anyone remember that the equation? Gamma H multiplied by coefficient of earth pressure, that may be active or that may be passive. That means Ka or Kp multiplied by gamma multiplied by H. Here H is the height of the backfill soil, and as the height of the backfill soil is increased, the pressure, earth pressure, the amount of earth pressure is also increased, and that's why to protect that, or to herewith that much amount of earth pressure, the cross section of the retaining wall will be also increased. This is the basic principle in designing the retaining wall. Okay, now coming to the gravity retaining wall, and the characteristics of gravity retaining wall is that, main characteristics is that these retaining gravity retaining walls are made of either brick or either stone masonry or either plain cement concrete or PCC. No reinforcement bars are used here in this case of gravity retaining wall. And the last point is, these kind of retaining walls are of trapezoidal in cross section. Now coming to the figure of gravity retaining walls. This is the figure of the cross section of gravity retaining walls. These these base plate, in general cases, most of the cases, these base plate will not be there in case of gravity retaining wall, but I have just so this gravity retaining wall, because in some of the cases this base plate is there when the earth pressure, active or maybe passive earth pressure, the amount of earth pressure is higher, then these kinds of base plates are provided in case of gravity retaining wall also. And this type of trapezoidal cross sections, maybe the back wall is vertical or back wall is inclined, but trapezoidal cross sections are given in case of gravity retaining walls. Now coming to the semi gravity retaining wall. Now in case of semi gravity retaining wall, as I have already discussed, that as the height of the soil cuts or height of the backfill soil increases, the massiveness or the cross section of the gravity retaining is massiveness, or the cross section of the retaining wall will also increase, required to increase when a high amount of earth pressure or high um, backfill soil, very high backfill soil is there at the back of the retaining wall, then to maintain the economy, we can provide a base plate to decrease the cross section of the, to decrease the required cross section of the retaining wall. In those cases, I can show you the figure. In those cases, some reinforcement bars or reinforcing bars, steel bars, may be provided in the wall and in the base plate. In this case, in semi gravity retaining wall, the base plate is mandatory to reduce the required cross section of the retaining wall. This cross section, to reduce this cross section, first thing is that to provide the base plate, and second thing is that a few amount of steel bars or reinforcement bars are given in the base plate or at the back side of the wall. And in this position or in this position bars, reinforcement bars are provided. And these by these the earth pressure which is subjected on the retaining wall. Due to this earth pressure, obviously bending moment and deflection may be generated, and those bending moment and deflections are counteracted by this base plate and these reinforcement bars. Okay, and so obviously the semi-gravity retaining walls are made of RCC. In most of the cases, those are made of RCC. Some of the cases when the earth pressure coming or earth pressure subjected on the retaining wall is not very high, in those cases reinforcement bars may be avoided, and only these base plate can counteract the that much of earth pressure that is subjected on the wall. Now coming to the next type of retaining wall, that is cantilever retaining wall. And nowadays cantilever retaining wall is the most used retaining wall in all the cases. uh, Sorry. Okay, uh, the notes are visible na? Is it okay? I think okay. Okay, now cantilever retaining wall, coming to the cantilever retaining wall, in these cases we can go to the diagram. This is the cross section of cantilever retaining wall. In this case, obviously the base plate, the length of the base plate or the width of the base plate may be higher than the case of semi gravity retaining wall. To counteract the earth pressure and the bending moment and the deflection due to those earth pressures, to counteract those things, reinforcement bars are given, and those reinforcement bars are designed not by assuming. In case of semi gravity retaining wall, some bars are provided, and those bars are given on the basis of judgment and assumptions. Okay, those bars are not designed, actually designed as per the structural considerations. But in case of cantilever retaining wall, obviously the cantilever retaining walls is designed on the basis of structural consideration and number of bars, and the diameter of bars are provided as per the designed value, and the width of the base plate and the width of the cross section of the retaining wall, all the parameters are designed mathematically. Okay, uh, and there are three different cantilever structures are there. You may see from the, I can alert the diagram. You may see there are three cantilever structures. One is this one. This wall is called stem. This part, this part is also one retaining structure, sorry, cantilever structure. This part is called heel, and this part is called toe. This is another cantilever structure. Okay, because the end portion of all these three parts are free, and at a single point all these three parts are fixed. That's why these three parts are actually cantilever structure, and there are three different cantilever structure. That's why this wall is called cantilever retaining wall. Okay, this is the backfill soil. This is the base slab. There are two parts of the base slab. One part is for heel, one part is for toe, and this the main wall is called stem. Now, obviously, this cantilever wall is made of RCC or the reinforced concrete, and the total required cross section and all the bars are designed mathematically on the basis of structural analysis. Okay. Now coming to the next type of retaining wall, that is called counterfort retaining wall. This is one special kind of retaining wall, and obviously this is a special type of cantilever retaining wall, because the cross section and design of this kind of retaining wall is very much similar to that of cantilever retaining wall. But one of the special thing in this wall is these brackets these are actually one triangular plates which are provided to connect the stem and the heel. Please remember that heel is in the backfill side and toe is in the front side of the retaining wall. Heel is at the back side of the retaining wall, in the where the backfill soil is there, that portion is heel. Maybe this backfill soil is at this side, or maybe, and the front side is this, then this portion will be hill and this portion will be toe. Okay, and here the backfill soil is in this side and this side is the front side face of the wall, and these brackets, these triangular brackets, which are actually nothing but some triangular plates, these triangular plates are provided to connect the stem part and heel part, to reduce the deflection or the bending moment those are generated due to the act of the earth pressures coming from the backfill soil. Okay, when obvious, so now we can assume that why these where these counterfort retaining walls are used in those cases where deflection and bending moment are very high due to the very high amount of earth pressure value. In those cases, these triangular plates, which are called counterforts, are provided in between stem and the heel. Okay, and these counterforts are actually reducing the function. The main function of these brackets are to reduce the deflection and bending moment in stem or in the cantilever portions. And the last type of the retaining wall is the buttressed retaining wall. In case of buttressed retaining wall, that is very much similar to counterfort wall, but the dissimilarity is that the triangular plates or the triangular brackets are provided at the face of the wall, in the front side of the wall, to connect the stem and toe together, and the function is same, to reduce the bending moment and the deflection which are generated for the high amount of earth pressure. Okay, these are the similar type of retaining wall, but in counterfort wall the triangular brackets are provided at the back portion of the wall to connect stem and heel. In case of buttressed retaining wall, the triangular brackets are provided at the front portion of the wall to connect stem and toe. And these two types of retaining walls are actually special kinds of cantilever retaining wall. Two special kinds of cantilever retaining walls. Okay, so this is all about the classification of retaining wall. Now coming to the next. Yes, yes, yes. काउंटरफोर्ट में, हाँ यस, बैकफिल के साइड में ये वॉल प्रोवाइड करेंगे. दिस इज द सिंबल ऑफ बैकफिल. I think you can see that this is the symbol of backfill, and counterforts or these triangular brackets are provided in this side. Okay, and in case of buttressed retaining wall, this is backfill and the triangular brackets are provided at the opposite side of backfill. Okay. Okay, now coming to the general discussion on the computation of earth pressure. I think there is one topic in your syllabus, that is the determination of earth pressure in various kinds of retaining wall. Now, the main two types of retaining wall, sorry, I just want to enlarge the diagram of cantilever retaining wall. Uh, these kinds of retaining, there are two main kinds of retaining wall. One is gravity retaining wall and one is cantilever retaining wall. These figures are not very much important, but because you have already see all the diagrams of the retaining wall, I have just taken these figures to discuss the difference of these two kinds of retaining wall when you want to compute or determine the earth pressure. Now, in case of gravity retaining walls, as I have already discussed, the base plate is not the general consideration. In most of the cases, there is no base plate in case of gravity retaining wall. This is the diagram of gravity retaining wall. Okay, and when the base plate is provided in case of gravity retaining wall, the width of the base plate is not very high, and that is obviously lower than that of cantilever retaining wall. In case of cantilever retaining wall, the base plate is very long compared to the gravity retaining wall. Now, when we want to compute or determine the earth pressure, obviously the soil or maybe the back surface of the wall may be vertical, may be inclined, backfill soil surface may be horizontal or may be inclined, but soil and the wall is intersected at any of the plane, and that means there are two different surfaces acting at this kind of retaining wall, soil and uh, retaining wall. There are two surfaces, there is one interaction between these two surfaces, and that means there is a frictional force coming into account in this case of gravity retaining wall between the retaining wall surface and the soil surface. But in case of cantilever retaining wall, there is a part of base plate. This is backfill soil. Obviously, this is backfill soil, but this backfill soil is supported through this part of base plate. That means the hill portion of the base plate. This backfill soil is supported on this, and that's why this part of soil is actually acting such that this soil is the part of this retaining wall. That's why this cantilever retaining wall is so much economical, and instead of that there is the use of reinforced bars or steel bars are there. In spite of that, cantilever retaining wall is very much economical because this part of the soil is acting as the part of retaining wall. That means the cross section available in case of cantilever retaining wall is very high in spite of the provided low cross section, and as the cross section is very high, the counteract the force, that earth pressure that is counteracted by this retaining wall is very high. That means the effectiveness of the cantilever retaining wall is very high than that of gravity retaining wall because of this part of soil. If this part of soil is acting as the part of the retaining wall, that means now we can assume that this is the back surface of the retaining wall. This line is the back surface of retaining wall, and after that this portion of the soil is acting as the backfill soil. Now we can say that the surfaces, this is the soil surface, and the backfill soil surface starting from here is also same kind of soil surface. That means these two surface, the interaction between these two surfaces is similar, and due to this kind of phenomenon, due to the similar surfaces, interaction between similar surfaces, obviously the interaction is not this kind. That means the frictional force cannot be considered here in this case of cantilever retaining wall. Frictional force is considered when there are two different surfaces interacted, but here two similar kind of surfaces are interacted in this plane. That's why these interaction can be assumed as cohesion but cannot be assumed as the frictional force or as friction. But in this case the friction must be considered in the calculation. Now I think you should tell me that in which theory frictional force is considered and in which theory frictional force is not considered. In the last class I have discussed on that. That is, in case of Coulomb's theory, the frictional force is considered, the frictional force between the back surface of the wall and the backfill soil, the frictional force in between those two surfaces is considered in case of Coulomb's theory. But in case of Rankine's theory, frictional force is not considered due to this thing. Okay, so when gravity retaining wall is given to you for design or for any calculation or for any mathematical purpose, you should use Coulomb's theory in case of gravity retaining wall. But when you are given any cantilever retaining wall, you should use Rankine's earth pressure theory for the case of cantilever retaining wall. Is this clear? Is this clear to all of you? Okay. In case of gravity retaining wall, the wall is directly interacted with the soil, and as the interaction is direct, there are two different surfaces. One is the back surface of the retaining wall and one is the soil surface here in this plane. Two different material, and in this case obviously the frictional force is coming into account. This is clear, I think. And and in case of cantilever retaining wall, as this portion of soil, this is soil, this is not integrated part of retaining wall, this is soil, because this is actually I have given in the figure, this is backfill soil. This soil part is supported on the base plate, this portion of base plate. Is this clear? The cantilever retaining wall is installed such a way that the soil will be placed on this base plate, and that's why this the special characteristics of this cantilever part of the cantilever retaining wall, this part, this hill part, this soil is actually acting the integrated part of the retaining wall, acting as a part of the retaining wall, such that this is also a part of retaining wall. Okay, that means this total part is the retaining wall acting like that. And if this total part is acting like a retaining wall, the backfill soil which are actually retained at the back of the retaining wall, this part of soil and this part of soil are similar in property, and this surface and the surface after this, the backfill soil after this, these two surfaces are similar. As there are two similar surfaces are interacting, obviously frictional force cannot be coming, because frictional force can coming into account when there are two similar two different surfaces. That is coming from the definition of the friction. In this case, this surface is acting as the back surface of the retaining wall, and this is backfill, and the front surface of the backfill soil and the back surface of the retaining wall is actually similar, as this backfill soil is acting as the integrated part of cantilever retaining wall. As these two surfaces are similar, then there is no frictional force, and that's why in case of Coulomb's theory, I think you can study again. I have given you the notes. In case of Coulomb's theory, we don't have to consider, in case of Rankine's theory, in case of Rankine's theory, we don't have to consider frictional force, as the assumptions are like that. But in case of Coulomb's theory, we have to consider the assumption. In the assumptions, obviously the frictional force is considered between the back of the retaining wall and the soil surface, soil actually. In those two different materials, the frictional force is coming, and that frictional force is considered in Coulomb's wedge theory. And that's why when you are given some gravity retaining wall for some mathematical calculation, or for some numerical problem, or for some design problem, maybe for gravity retaining wall you have to consider Coulomb's wedge theory. But if you are given some cantilever retaining wall, then you have to use Rankine's earth pressure theory. Up to last class you have studied two different theories. One is Rankine's earth pressure theory, one is Coulomb's earth pressure theory or Coulomb's wedge theory. These are the two different uses of those two theories. When gravity retaining walls are considered, then you have to take Coulomb's wedge theory. When cantilever retaining walls are given, you have to take Rankine's earth pressure theory. I think now is it clear? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, all of you, any query or question you may ask.